everybody. Welcome to a Friday edition of Box Seats. Friday edition of Box Seats. I'm your host, Nick Holder, sitting here with a comedian on a talented Fig in comics who's been in the game for a long time. They've been in comedy films, film festivals, comedy commercials, comedy TV shows. Now they're in a comedy sports show. And first of all, guys, thanks for joining us. Tal wasn't here yesterday, so Tal, how was your trip? It seems like you're still on the road there. How's everything?
Man, I'm still out here. Everything eventually it worked out. I was supposed to be here yesterday, but 3 planes later, I'm safe.
Mm-hmm. So where
I say all that to say I'm coming to you live from Indonesia.
Okay. How about you, Brady?
Man, I'm doing good, man. I'm here. You know what I mean? Every day, listen, in the COVID season, every day like this is a good day.
Yeah. So speaking of COVID season, let's jump into the COVID report. The first thing I have to say about the COVID report, because we talk about the COVID season, Zion Williamson got cleared. He missed a couple of games. He's got cleared. He's supposed to set to play tonight. And the Boston Celtics, who've missed 3 games, they are set to clear. They're going to be back in action against the Orlando Magic tonight. And right now, it looks like there's 4 tentative college games that is, I don't want to say the names of the games just yet because it looked like they still supposed to play, but we'll see what happens. Maybe over the weekend they might not play, and then I'll report on Monday that they did not play. The biggest news this morning when we all woke up was that, that got released about an hour ago, is that Kyrie Irving is set to coming back Saturday. The NBA fined him $50,000 for obviously for breaking the health and safety protocols. We all know what happened. The video surfaced, and the video surfaced around him, at a birthday party with his sister and all, doing all kinds of different things. I'm not gonna lie, Talent. I'm gonna just throw this on you right now. I think he got a slap on the wrist, and I think NBA really is excited about him joining and being on the net as soon as possible so they can broadcast that, because the NBA is hurting for money. They want viewership and everything else, so they gave him a slap on the wrist. What's your thoughts?
Yeah, I think he's a big baby and didn't want to play because KD was out. So now you do this trade, you bring in another superstar. Of course he's coming back.
Yeah, I can't.
Of course he's coming back to play. Kyrie is still in playground mode. He's in Rucker Park mode, and Rucker Park, they get up for when another big player comes. So now they got a big player acquired. Oh, he's coming back to strut his stuff and show off a little bit.
I can't blame him. What you think, Fig?
I think Kyrie heard that Harden was coming to the Brooklyn Nets, and he was like, "Baby, I'm back. You can blame it all on me." Yo, he got a slap on the wrist, man. I think they fined him like 50 grand. I mean, come on, man. You drop more than that when you go into the club with Sweet Lou to get some wings, man. Mm-hmm. That wasn't no money. They let him slide, man. They want some real competition for LeBron this year. LeBron and Kawhi Leonard and stuff. They want some competition in the East, man.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I have to think that not only that was it a slap on the wrist, I think the NBA made some adjustments. They're trying to figure some stuff out. They want to see how they can maximize this. Plus, his game back is going to be Saturday, which is a weekend. It's not like it's a weeknight. It's Saturday, against Orlando. People home. You know what I mean? It's just all lined up too perfectly, if you ask me. That's just the way I looked at it. There's a couple of other things. Since you weren't here yesterday, we had a conversation about the James Harden trade, right? Specifically, of course, going to this team. We talked about a couple of things, but Shaquille O'Neal said something last night, and I want to go back and reflect on what he said, but I also want to reflect on what we were talking about yesterday that you probably missed. Shaquille O'Neal said last night, very, very interesting. He said that, let me get his quote. He did not like what James Harden did. He did not trust what James Harden did. And to be completely honest, he said that he didn't give all he had and that he's not telling the truth. Now, then, of course, Shaq went on, but Shaq always compares his stuff to his playing time and things like that. And he said, if he was really telling the truth of what he could have did and what he should have did, he would have gave his all. And then Shaq gave a listing of all his stats for this season, and Harden was down in every single area. James Harden was down. My question to you, Talent, is: do you think Shaq is on point with his assessment of saying that James Harden didn't tell the truth and that James Harden lied to us and was trying to get everybody to still be on his side? What you think?
I think it's some validity to that. I think it's a valid point to make. And being in that position, Shaq pretty much telling himself that he had those moments too where he probably wanted to force a hand or two and played less or whatever the case may be. James Harden, we all know from all the way back at OKC, he's a battler. He's a real hard player. Like, he's one of those guys that are not naturally blessed with a physique to just mosey up and down the court. He's one of those guys that put in that extra work. He's like a Bill type player. Him and Bill, they're not the natural what we're used to athletically from an NBA player. So they go above and beyond, and they rely 100% on skills. So if you look at James Harden, it's something simple like the way he returned, all robust and everything, that you can't do that. You can't be the shorter guy with the skills and the handle, and now you're going to put on the bubbly weight. You know what I'm saying? So I think there's a lot of validity to Shaq saying his production numbers and stats being low is proof and evident that, he's playing some sort of weird game right. I agree with Shaq.
Yeah. What you think, Vic?
I think Harden, to tell you the truth, while he was still in Houston, I think he gave 110%, minus 60, of course. Because he was, man, listen, we didn't even need Shaq to tell you that, man. Boogie Cousins in there was talking about that. He was like, listen, man, he's disrespectful the way he showed up, all fat, around the middle, looking like a fat burger, Ben Roethlisberger of the Houston Rockets. I'm like, yo, man, where were you eating, James? I'm like, I don't, I'm not familiar with Houston, but I'm sure they got some places to eat out there, man. And Harden seemed like he visited every last one of them before the season started because he was a little pudgy around the middle, He was a little Pillsbury doughboy. You poke him in the stomach and he'd giggle. So he did not give his all, man. He definitely didn't give his all. He ate it all, but he didn't give his all.
He came in overweight. He came in not playing his all. He came in trying to force his way out and talent. I'm gonna say this, when they all three of them played in the summer together over in LA, and everybody was talking about, they playing together and they trying to, you know what I mean? They were starting the rumors and everything else. James Harden just continued to add on what was already coming to him and everything else. So I think Shaq knew all about that. I think Shaq put it out there. Of course, Kenny and Charles, they said the exact same thing. They were like, yeah, it's to a different degree. But I'll say this. I don't like when NBA players do that to the team because it changes the dynamic of the team. Sometimes for the better, sometimes for the worse. Now, let's talk about Houston. Last night, Houston Rockets played a hell of a game against San Antonio and talent. Now, I'm going to ask you this. Do you think that the James Harden trade got the Houston Rockets together and be able to play better as a team without dealing with all that nonsense?
I think we all believe that. I think that when if you're any other player on that team and you're not a superstar, it puts you in a very very weird position. You're between a rock and a hard place because you know that the team supposedly is riding and dying with this franchise player, and you really can't say nothing, and everything got to go there. It's like, you know what I'm saying? It turns like into a dictatorship, and you can't say nothing with the risk of, well, they're gonna trade me before they trade him, and blah blah blah. So the team moves a certain way. Now, once you get rid of that cancer, for lack of a better word, or that virus, you know what I'm saying? You like, oh my God, now everybody feels free. So you're gonna look at a free future Houston team right now. Everybody's gonna start putting their bid in player-wise to be the next guy and to get on good graces of the front office and the coaching staff. You know what I mean? Like, when you get the cancer out of there, people feel free. And look at the hospitals. When somebody beats cancer and they wheel them out, they hit that bell. You ring that bell.
That's a great point. Talent hit on a couple of analogies there. Fig, I'm even throw it out there and say this. I think the way they played last night, I watched a nice chunk of the game where they played last night, man. If they move the ball like that, Houston, and they hit those shots continuously, Houston could make a little noise out in the way. And the trade from them might have been the best thing that ever happened to them. What you think?
Hey, man, I just say I think the fact that James Harden is on another team was a big weight off of their shoulders. No pun intended. Harden with the weight thing. They and you talk about Frank said you watched a big chunk of the game. Well, there was a chunk of the game that wasn't even there because he was on his way to Brooklyn if he had not already showed up already, man. And man, the thing of the matter is that listen, when your best player, your franchise player, is disgruntled, it weighs on the rest of the team, man. It just, like Talon said, it's a cancer in the locker room, and the play on the floor is going to reflect whatever is going on in the locker room. The fact that he's not there shows that they really did have enough to win. You know what I mean? Because John Wall didn't play yesterday. There was a couple of players that didn't play yesterday, and what Shaq and Charles and Kenny call the others. Those guys showed up last night, and they battled all 4 quarters, and they came out with the W. And it goes to show you that had James come in shape, you know what I mean, and these guys played at their full potential, then Houston wouldn't have been a bad team.
You know what? You're absolutely right. I looked at them last night like those dudes they already were motivated to win anyway. But after that trade left, they were more motivated. And ain't nothing like motivation to motivate an NBA, player besides money. Obviously, you get motivated by money. But when you get like this like that in public, I think, what did Boogie say? Boogie said that they was disrespected. You know what I mean? And what's his name? Disrespected them and disrespected the team 8-9 games in. So, Talent, I'm gonna ask you this, and then we're gonna move on. I'm gonna ask you this: do you feel that they was disrespected by James Harden in that way? And of course, the way the whole thing premised from game 1 to now, because John Wall was upset, Boogie Cousins was upset. They felt like they was disrespected. Do you think it was disrespected?
Well, absolutely. You're always disrespected when the star player treats you a certain way or lack thereof. Because, again, like I said in the last comment, your star player is what you're building around. So goes the team. So if you have us building around you and making these plans to move a certain way, and with all this preparation, you're really not even planning to be there.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody's making this plan. Dude, let me tell you something. It's bad when you get to your birthday party and there's no cake. But it's even worse when there's a big cake with your name on it and you never make it.
Right. Well, let me ask Fig, what do you think? Because your sound's a little bit messed up. Fig, what do you think?
Look, man, I think what Boogie said is that the way Harden came to camp, you know what I mean, was disrespectful because he came out of shape and he didn't come ready to play. So, in the beginning, he didn't want to be a part of the team. And then when he had that press conference, he said, we don't have enough to win. Mm-hmm. What are you saying when you say we don't have enough to win? You calling the rest of your teammates scrubs. You like, I'm the only good player on this squad, and we just don't have enough to get it done. But like it was said, already reported, the Houston organization gave Harden everything that he asked for. Every player that he ever requested, every move that he wanted, they made. And, and on top of that, gave him a top salary. It's like, yo, man, we gave you everything, and now you're talking about we don't have enough, man. That's a slap in the face to the rest of his teammates, including Boogie Cousins, John Wall. I mean, John Wall got there. He was like, yo, man, we 9 games in. What are you talking about? We don't have enough to win. We ain't even play no games yet.
Yeah.
It's just what he did was all right. Look, you want to go play with KD and Kyrie, that's cool. But don't disrespect, your teammates on the way out.
Now, I'm going to ask you this, Talent. It seems like a perfect storm is brewing like almost the same way in Brooklyn. Almost the same way. If Brooklyn does not win, that's what I'm going to ask you. With the James Harden trade to Brooklyn, if Brooklyn does not win, can you see it collapsing after this season right now? Because to me, I'm thinking it's NBA championship or bust because they mortgage their whole – they have no future. They mortgage their whole future to win. So with the James Harden trade and everything going down there, what you think?
I think that definitely the pressure's on them. Everybody's looking at it like that. I'm a firm believer in playing together for a certain amount of time before you get the results or what it looks like on paper. If you haven't learned anything back with that super Olympian Portland team, that Pippen and those guys put together. Looked like a damn Olympic team, but you just put a bunch of greats together. You didn't have any camaraderie. You didn't get to play together. You didn't get into a flow in your bag, as they say. So although I think all eyes are going to be expecting that, me, myself, I don't expect it. I expect at least the second time around. The first time, everybody's coming for you. Like, this is no secret trades. This is big frontline news. So everybody's getting ready for that. Right now, while y'all still talking and arguing and figuring it out, people are practicing and getting tight.
Yeah. Fig, what he said makes a whole lot of sense. What you think?
Yeah, man. The thing that a lot of people don't realize is that you can assemble a team and make it gel like right away. You know what I mean? They need to develop some chemistry. I mean, they're going to win a lot of games, regular season games. But when it comes down, when it really matters the most is when it comes down to the playoffs, and you got to face the same team, possibly 7 games in a row, where they know everything you're doing, how you're going to do it, where you like the ball, where you don't like it. I mean, it's just really difficult to do. The one thing that I would say is, I wouldn't say championship or bust, but the one thing that I would say, if you don't at least go to the Eastern Conference Finals, that would be a bust, and quite possibly even the finals. Like, if you don't make it to the finals with this team, that's not good. You know what I mean? Because you got Milwaukee, you got Philadelphia, and pretty much you got the Brooklyn Nets.
Now,
I think the Brooklyn Nets need to come out.
Now, I'll say this. I agree with everything you just said, except when you said Eastern Conference Finals. And I'll say that this is the reason why. All those dudes have a reason to opt out after next season. So they don't even have time on themselves. They can literally all opt out of their contract. Let's say they don't make it to the finals this year. They don't like the way everything moves. And then they play one more year. They could opt out at the end of the next season, the following season. And then the Brooklyn Nets are left with nothing except the younger team that they have. So to me, I think even the players know right now that it's win now or go home. If we don't get to the finals this year, we better get to the finals next year and win it all. And if they do, I think they'll stay together. I think they'll re-up. I think they might want to run 2 or 3, NBA finals, chips back to back. But if they don't win this year and they don't win next year, I'm willing to bet. You can put on record right now. I'm willing to bet they all opt out and they go their separate ways. I bet that, because that's they're selfish to a certain degree. But let me ask the next thing. The next thing is that the next news item that slowly seeped under the bridge that nobody's talking about is Victor Oladipo right now, and because he's on a expiring contract this year, he came out and said that he's looking forward to going somewhere else. He don't think he's going to stay up and re-up. He's looking forward to going somewhere else, and he has interest in going to the Miami Heat. Now the question is, talent, is the Miami Heat the greatest place for him to be? Because the Miami Heat are not playing well right now. What you think?
I think is a good place for him to go. I mean, you can't really look at how they're playing right now without you. You got to look at how you're going to make them better or fit into that piece of puzzle. So I think he's that kind of player. I think he has that energy. He reminds me, to be honest, we just finished talking about Harden. He reminds me of that energy, that early Harden energy, where he was just, persistent and, persistent sometimes override resistance. So he seems to be determined to be not only on a good team, but in a place that he can help uplift, and get to that next level. So shout out to Victor. I think he got the right idea in mind. Him in Miami, I like that.
Yo, Victor Oladipo got some skills. So everybody's sleeping on it. That dude got some skills. Fig, what you think? Because honestly, if Victor Oladipo goes down there with the Heat and he's playing paired up with Jimmy Butler, that changes the whole dynamic of the Miami Heat. You know what I mean? Like literally, just that one player can make some changes over there. So what you think?
Like if it's a trade, then I wonder who the Miami Heat give up for Victor Oladipo. I thought Victor Oladipo.
It won't be a big trade because it's got an expiring contract, so it'd be about draft picks. They're not going to give up the farm because he's leaving. He could opt out at the end of the year. You know what I mean? Right. So they're not going to give up the farm. So you know what I mean? So it's going to probably be a draft pick, maybe a second round draft pick. But I thought
he was going to end up. I really thought he was going to end up in Houston and he was going to stay.
Mm-hmm.
I thought,
but he doesn't want to. That's the problem.
Right. I get it, but I'm just saying. I would. I mean, for what I saw last night, add in somebody like a Victor Oladipo, John Wall come back healthy, Boogie get into NBA shape, after coming off a couple of years of being injured. If those guys get in NBA shape, I was like, yo, man, that's a problem. You got John Wall, you got those other players, you got Tucker, you know what I mean? And Oladipo, wow, that would be dope. But having him go to Miami, it's not a bad move. You know what I mean? It's no taxes. You get to keep most of no state taxes. You get to keep most of your money. You're down there in South Beach. You know what I mean? You got Jimmy Butler and those young guns down there. I think that'd be a nice move. You know what I mean? They got Bam out of Bayou, or we like to call from last year, out of BC, because he was beast mode on the court. They'll get it together. I don't like any teams jumping off the ship right now, because, dang, man, you played 10 games. You don't know who give yourself a minute.
Right. All right, let's change the subject. We got to now talk about some NFL, because we got some big games heading up this weekend. We're gonna do our picks and stuff like that. Biggest news yesterday, as soon as we got off the air, Urban Meyer has officially decided, because we talked about it yesterday. Talent, you weren't obviously here with us. We said that it was coming, but Urban Meyer officially landed in Jacksonville after 2 years absent. He came up. I'm gonna go on the record right now and say Urban Meyer took that job because of the #1 draft pick. That's what I think. I think he took it. I think he knows he has the #1 draft pick. I think he knows he's got 7 to 8 draft picks coming up. I think he was able to assemble his entire staff the way he wanted to. I think the GM gave him full reign. I think he sees promise. Now, I'm gonna ask you, do you see promise with Jacksonville? And do you think that Urban Meyer will translate well as a coach in the NFL? Because we all know coaching in the NFL is completely different than coaching in college football. It's completely you can't even talk to the guys the same. You know what I mean? What's your thoughts?
Well, I think that everybody thinks they got a shot when they're coming in with a little head start sprinkled on your situation with the draft pick. But it's Jacksonville. And that's a little more work than it entails than you think. If you think that a season or two you're going to be the Don Shula of this shit, you're crazy. All right? It's Jacksonville. So I think anybody that goes to Jacksonville at this moment in time needs to at least be geared up for a 4-year plan.
Right.
And if he goes in there with a 4-year plan, like I'm talking about a real plan, I see him making some noise. If you don't have at least a 4-year plan, don't waste people's time. You know what I mean? I know everybody want to check right now. It's COVID, so everybody want to check, But, yeah, I don't see it happening, Frank, for at least 4 years or better.
Okay. All right. I think Talent is on point with his assessment, because it takes about 4 years to turn any program around. The problem is Jacksonville management going to give him 4 years? You know what I mean? Because, in the NFL is win today. What's your thought process, Fig?
I don't know what the contract entails, but if Urban Meyer left a cushy job where he was guaranteed to keep it without at least a guaranteed contract of at least 4 years, he's out of his mind. You got to hold on to a guy like Urban Meyer. Urban Meyer sounds like he's the black version of Oscar Meyer. You know what I mean? There's going to be a lot of sandwiches in that locker room. That's all I'm trying to say. I think he's related to the Myers, the lunch meat Myers. But I'm just saying, man, I think Urban Meyer be able to turn it around. You know what I mean? He's been in 3 different collegiate programs, and he's been able to win and turn those programs around. Again, it's with college players, and when you're in college, it has more to do with recruiting. But if he gets the right pieces, and he's starting out with a lot of draft picks and the #1 draft pick this year, I'm really curious to see who he's going to pick, because he got a pretty good quarterback on the team that he just left, and then there's Trevor Lawrence that's available. I'm interested to see who he's going to go after for the #1 pick. I want to know what quarterback he's going to pick. That would be.
I agree with you, Fig, because I think he has history with Justin Fields. So I would be wondering to see if he might pick Justin Fields as #1. But even though everybody in all the college sports and everything else, use all the metrics, they said Trevor Lawrence is better than Justin Fields. He has a relationship with Justin Fields. He knows Justin Fields. It'd be interesting to see if he picks Fields. It really would. I'd like to see that. You know what I mean? I think it'd be interesting. Honestly, I'll say this. If I'm the Jets and I got number 2, I'll try to figure out what Jacksonville's going to do. You know what I mean? And try to see what I could do, see if I could switch, from number 2 to number 1. That's what I would do because, Sam Darnold's the man. And, Urban Meyer might flip the whole script and pick a wide receiver number 1. That dude is just not – you just never know what he's going to do. You just never know what he's going to do. But since we talk about the NFL still, I know you guys got to be real happy because the Jets hired a new coach out there. And my man, Robert Saleh, he's a defensive coordinator from San Francisco 49ers. He brought the 49ers to the Super Bowl just last year. You know what I mean? And barring a couple of plays, they could have won the game. They could have been the train and stopped the Kansas City Chiefs. So I got to ask you, crazy question. I'm going to still ask you, what you think, Alan, about the Jets hire of Robert Saleh?
I love it. Anytime our coaches, let me tell you something. Jets are the blue-collar team. Even though the color's green, we are the blue-collar team in the league. And we want coaches with that defensive background that makes sense. Like, I like coaches that graduate from defensive coordinator as opposed to offense for my team. It works for all the other teams that are offensive-oriented. The Jets have always been gangrene. They're always going to be gangrene. We are defensive, hard-body, blue-collar team. I like this decision.
Okay, all right. I guess that's the one Jets fan. So let me just flip over to the Giants/Jets fan of the group. What you think, Vic?
Yeah, man, I like the dude, man. He's coming out of San Francisco. That was a pretty good organization. When they had a quarterback that was serviceable, they were really good. You know what I mean? They lost their quarterback, and they fell down a couple of pegs because their quarterback was injured. Sam Darnold coming in healthy, build up that offensive line. You know what I mean? A little bit, get a nice receiver. Get some pieces in there. They got a lot of draft picks, man. But I'll tell you this: if I have Sam Darnold, I've been rolling this over in my mind. I would not pick a quarterback number 2. I'd go out and get that athletic receiver, man. I'd go and get Devontae, baby, because that boy is next level. That is the dude that I would go for in the draft. If he's available at number 2, that's my number 2 pick if I'm the Jets.
See, now you just rolled into my next question. My next question is, will the Jets keep Sam Darnold? Now, I know what you would do, Fig, and I know what you probably would do, Talent, but I'm going to ask you, what do you think the Jets are realistically going to do? Talent, floor is yours.
They're going to do what I'm going to do.
Which is?
They're going to keep him.
They're going to keep Sam Darnold? Okay.
You've been trying to get rid of Sam Darnold all season, bro.
Who, me? No, I like Sam Darnold.
You come up with all these pelican briefs and all these scenarios, and all your scenarios, Sam Darnold goes somewhere. Like, we was talking hockey one show, and you was like, "What is Sam Darnold? He stop trying to get rid of him. He is determined to get rid of my quarterback."
No, I'm trying to get him for the Patriots, bro. That's all. I'm trying to get him.
The Jets have faith in a future with Sam Darnold. I think what Fig said, if they're smart, they're going to use these draft picks to put the pieces around him, linemen included and receivers included, to let this man play to his full potential. It ain't just hey, don't be shipping my guy out. Sam Darnold stays. The Jets know that.
Okay, Fig, I know what you would do. What do you think the Jets are going to do, especially since they now got Robert Saleh as the new head coach?
Man, I'm gonna throw out a Pelican brief in the name of Frank. If the Jets could get some draft picks, some more draft picks for Sam Darnold, I think that they could get some top draft picks. I think that they could get a receiver and another quarterback and some frontline people, depending on who really needs a quarterback. You know what I mean? Sam Darnold, man, I just like at the end of the day, I think the Jets, what they're going to do, I think they're going to keep Sam Darnold because he's big. He's a little bit mobile, and they've seen what he could do. You know what you have. He's been in a couple seasons already. It's usually about the third or fourth season when a decent quarterback comes into his own, even if he's a game manager. And this is right about the time where Sam Darnold will gel. And if you can protect him and give him some weapons, Jets will make some noise.
I'll be honest with you. I'm a Patriots fan. I think the smartest move for the Jets to do is to draft that Deshaun kid who was the wide receiver who's as fast as Tyreek Hill. That would be the smartest thing that they could do. And I think now they have a head coach who will exactly do that. I think they'll keep Sam Darnold. I think they'll draft that wide receiver, number 2. And I think they'll probably figure out the rest of it, because they got 20-something draft picks over the next 2 years. They're going to stock up there, and then they're going to trade some of those stock. They're going to trade some of those draft picks for some veterans to bring in some veterans, surround them around, on the defense side of the ball, and that's what they're going to do. The offensive line is not a problem. Their quarterback is not a problem. They have no wide receivers, they have no tight ends, and their defense wasn't good. That's what they're going to do. And being that the Jets now have a head coach who is defensive-minded, orientated, who brought 2 teams from Houston. Houston was really good when he was there, and he brought San Francisco 49ers to the Super Bowl, and they almost upset the Kansas City Chiefs. As a Patriots fan, I'm kind of nervous about that, looking at all that. Now, as an overall football person, I like the whole move. I like everything that's going on in New York. You got to like what's going on. I want a rivalry between New York and New England. I want that, except I don't want it to be lopsided. You know what I mean? I want a rivalry. Now, I wouldn't throw no shade. Because I want a rivalry. I didn't say nothing about the butt fumble. I ain't say nothing about. I ain't even go there. I didn't say nothing.
Yo, man, why you bringing up Sanchez, man? You don't bring up Sanchez. We don't talk. We're not talking Sanchez in New York, baby. We're not talking Sanchez. We talk the arroz con pollo and the tres leche. That's the only thing we talk about here. No Sanchez.
Okay, I'm sorry. All right, well, let me talk about this you off now, because there's several other coaching vacancies, right? Last night, when I saw a couple of the coaches got hired, like for example, Atlanta Falcons, they hired the head coaching job, the Tennessee Titans coach Arthur Smith, the offensive coordinator. I'm still looking at, why isn't Eric Bieniemy hired? Then I sat there and I looked. I was like, oh, Eric Bieniemy's waiting to see if he can get that Houston job or if he can get that LA Chargers job. Now, you all know Eric Bieniemy, for those of you sitting out there who don't know who he is, Eric Bieniemy is the offensive coordinator of the most powerful offense in the league for the last 3 years. That's the Kansas City Chiefs. If you're Eric Bieniemy, you got Houston on one hand talent, and you got LA Chargers on the other hand. You got Houston with Deshaun Watson, or you got the LA Chargers with my boy, I can't think of his name, but you already know the quarterback. Did you get my point? Which job would you take?
Well, I would go definitely with the Texans. For the simple fact that one thing about the Texans, man, every year, for as long as I can remember, for at least the last decade, they've been solid on both ends of the ball. So they just need some tweaking and some real hard-nosed coaching over there. So I would take that, because you're walking into a situation that's not far off from a competing team over there. You already got the competing team. A lot of people, like we just finished talking about, going to Jacksonville, you got to work a little more cut out for you for a 4-year plan. With this one here, barring a couple of pieces, you get right to work, hit the ground running. So I would go to the Texans. They're ready.
Okay, all right. Fig, would you take Houston with Deshaun Watson or the Chargers with Justin Herbert? Which one job? If you're Eric Bieniemy, which one would you take?
Let me tell you something, man. I'm going to LA. Anytime I get to go to Los Angeles and get paid a whole lot of money, that's where I'm going, man. I'm going to Los Angeles. Let me tell you why. Deshaun Watson don't want to be in Houston. Why would I want to go there? You mean to tell me you're going to get rid of this quarterback? He wants out, B. He wants out. And that organization is dysfunctional. You got rid of D-Hop, and now Deshaun, you got rid of your 2 top players. You got rid of one of the top receivers in the NFL, and now one of the top quarterbacks in the NFL don't want to be a part of your organization because you disrespected them. There's got to be something going on in Houston. And let me tell you something. Without talent, you are not going to win in the NFL. I don't care what nobody. You ain't going to win nothing.
Thank you.
The NFL. So I'm out of there.
Yeah.
Tell them you know. Talent knows, because you need talent to win.
Without me, you win nothing. Thank you.
Talent, do you think they should talk to Deshaun Watson and try to figure out who their next head coach should be, especially if it's going to be Eric Bieniemy? You think they should let him have a say-so in that?
I think they're already having that conversation. I think the minute you knew that he was playing with the waters and want to be out of there, you went right to conversation mode. Well, how can we get you to stay? What's the problem? I think they already had that conversation. That's why this is a conversation.
Good point. What do you think, Fig?
I think they already messed up. I think Deshaun Watson's out, and I don't think he's going to change his mind because, listen, anybody, you tell me you get rid of one of the best quarterbacks. I mean, one of the best receivers in the NFL, in D-Hop, I'm like, I don't even know what you're thinking. It's like there's got to be something wrong with management. I mean, he didn't do nothing detrimental to the organization, so why would you get rid of a player like that? There's something wrong. And you see what it did to the organization. You see what it did to the team. You see where they were last year when they had him, and where they are this year without him. It seems like you're getting rid of all of the weapons. So what did that do? That makes you, as a quarterback, look bad. Next thing you know, you're out of the league because they was like, yeah, man, he see his best days. When you see your best days, because you ain't got no weapons. You ain't got nobody. You ain't got nobody to help you out. I mean, I'd want out of there, man. I'd want to go to an organization that's willing to put some people around me, man.
You know what the funny thing is everything you said is 100%. But my thought process is why would Deshaun Watson sign that major contract at the beginning of their season after they got rid of DeAndre Hopkins? Like, what did they tell him that their future was what they were going to do that made him say, you know what, I will extend and sign it instead of testing free agency and going in? Like, what was the promises? What was the plans that they said for them to say that, for him to sign? And then on top of that, you remember that tweet he said, that cryptic tweet he typed that he eventually deleted? He said, oh, here we go again. You know what I mean? Like, meaning along the lines of, okay, they lied to me. So what did they tell him? Got him to sign, and then all of a sudden he's like, okay, here we go again. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know.
Offered him some sweet little wings, some dancing girls, and a couple of receivers to replace D-Hop.
Yeah, and ownership of a strip club. it is Houston. You know, it is Houston.
All it could be is, you know, sometimes you fulfill the obligation, but it's just not up to the person's par. So they probably said, we're going to give you these strippers, you know, going to come by. And he's like, and they sent the strippers. They was just lousy.
It was in his room dancing all off beat.
And we fulfilled our part. You know, we didn't say we bad strippers. We just said strippers.
Okay, let me ask you guys this. Keeping the conversation going on. One of the biggest games of the weekend is this Tom Brady versus Drew Brees game. Everybody looking forward to it. Tom Brady has not won the best of Drew Brees over his span of his career. You know, he's always getting compared to, you know, Drew Brees did this, Drew Brees did that, everything else. I'm going to just throw it out there and say that Tom Brady is due for a W against Drew Brees. I don't necessarily think that it's the biggest toss-up game to me over the weekend, but I'm going to ask you, Talent, before we even start doing our picks and we have Fig do the top dogs, I'm going to ask you, if the upset of the weekend is going to happen, do you think it's going to be the Tom Brady versus Drew Brees game? And who are you looking at and how for this game in particular?
No, I think that game's going to play out exactly the way it's supposed to. I don't think it's going to be any surprise. The only people that's going to be surprised is the people that go against Tom Brady. Tom Brady right now, in his latter part of his career, he knows that he's in that position. He's in that do or die position. He's the thirstiest to me. He has the most to prove to me. You know, he's trying to put icing on that cake, that battle cake between him and his former coach, Belichick. So I would not bet anything. You know, watch. It's like a James Bond movie. You always bet on black.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I
Tom
have to
Brady
agree.
is black in this.
I have to agree with you on that one. What you think, Fig?
I'm a little nervous about this one, man. I'm not sure because the last time the Tampa Bay met the Saints, man, the Saints beat them down. 2 games this season. Now, I look, I always say it's a little difficult to beat the same team back to back. You know what I mean? Close, but you know, sometimes it's just those teams that have your number, and you know, Drew Brees is playing at a high level, and God forbid Drew Brees gets hurt, he's still got two decent quarterbacks on the sideline that could come in for him, man. I just like that the way that that the Saints are playing, and I mean, I want Tom Brady to come through, but it's a scary battle. This one is scary.
Hey, you know what? You know what the funny thing is The last time a game was so lopsided like this, I'm not sure where it's factual, but in 2010, the Patriots beat the Jets like up by almost 40 points, right? Then the Patriots faced the Jets in the AFC Championship game, right? Well, a game going to divisional round game, the game to go to the AFC Championship game. The Patriots faced the Jets, and the Jets demolished them. They literally flipped the whole score, flipped the whole script on them. And that's the thing that sticks out to me, because I think especially in the NFL, it's not like in the NBA, because we all know in the NBA, one team is better. I don't care how you plan out and everything else. If one team is better, that team is better. In baseball, no matter how you plan it out, the other team is better, and you can't beat them. But in football, it's one of the most even level type of things. One team could be really good one week, and they could be really bad the following week, and you literally have a chance to win because it's a whole even ground. So I'm going to say this. I think Tom Brady's team literally can go in New Orleans and beat the Saints. I really think they can, because the Saints embarrassed the Bucks so badly the last time they played. Now, whether you all agree or disagree, it's up to you. That's what I just think.
No, I agree. I think Tampa's going to win, man. I raise dogs. I breed dogs. I'm all about dogs. I know everything about a dog. If they're always talking about top dogs in football, right now, a desperate dog is the dog you don't reach your arm out to. The desperate dog is the dog that bites you. Tom Brady's going in there a desperate dog. Drew Brees is at home. He got his slippers on. His wife put some hot chocolate on. He's at home. He's in a different place mentally and spiritually. Tom Brady can't afford to be that lax. He's going in there trying to seal this story. This is the biggest story of his career. If he can make this happen, all the big stuff we talked about up to this point dissipates and lays precedence to this story right now.
I agree with that. Fig, since it's time for top dogs, you ready to get it happen?
Wait a minute, before I do the top dogs, we got two words. We got dissipate. Anyway, I'll go to the top dogs.
The floor is yours.
Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you something. It's that time of the week. It's Friday, baby. And it's time for the 5 top dogs of the week. Now, usually I would go to another sport like the NBA, boxing, or something like that. But since the NFL teams had so much on the line this week, I'm sticking with the NFL. Number one on my list, the top dogs of the week. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going with my man, Josh Allen of the Buffalo Bills. Ladies and gentlemen, Josh Allen would pass for 324 yards, 2 touchdowns. He added 54 yards in rushing and another touchdown for a grand total of 378 yards, 3 TDs, leading the Buffalo Bills over the Colts. Let's give it to Josh Allen. Number 2 on my list. This guy came up and did something that we never really expected him to do, and it was over a great team. Let's give it for my man, Baker Mayfield, ladies and gentlemen, passing for 263 yards, 3 touchdowns to lead the Cleveland Browns over Big Ben Roethlisberger and the Pittsburgh Steelers for a grand score of 48-37. That had to be the upset of the week, ladies and gentlemen. I don't think anybody saw that coming. Third on my list is the man that we just got finished talking about, the older statesman himself, Mr. AARP, ladies and gentlemen, Tampa Tom, down there in Tampa Bay, passing for 381 yards, 2 touchdowns, leading the Bucs to their first playoff win in 14 years over the Washington football team, 31-23. Give it to my man Tampa Tom for doing the damn thing. Ladies and gentlemen, now this one, I had to do a combo. Number 4 on my list is a combo of my man Jared Goff of the LA Rams, passing for 155 yards, 1 touchdown. And added to that, I got to give it to my man, the running back himself, Mr. Cam Akers, running for 131 yards and 1 touchdown for a grand total of 286 yards, 2 TDs over the Super Bowl bound Seahawks, 30-20 I couldn't believe that Sierra went down like that last week. It was just absolutely mind-blowing. I couldn't believe it. Ladies and gentlemen, on my list, I got to do one more. The combo, Drew Brees of the New Orleans Saints passing for 265 yards, 2 touchdowns, and another running back, Alvin Kamara, rushing for 99 yards, 1 touchdown, leading the Saints over the Bears 21-9. Those are the 5 top dogs of the week. Ladies and gentlemen, if you love top dogs, let me hear your bark.
Sierra going down. Remember, this is a family show. You can't say.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry. That's not what I meant.
Yeah,
that was very funny. That's Frank's mind going left. I didn't even.
I had nothing to do with that. Listen,
I was just saying. I can't believe when you said that, Coach. I can't believe Sierra went down like that. I was like, it's a family show.
Burn, I ain't had a burn. It's not me. It's not me this time, Burn. I'm telling you.
Hilarious.
It's not me.
Y'all are crazy. So y'all ready to do the NFL top picks of the week? Because that's what we got to do. We got to do the picks of the week. Y'all ready for that?
Oh,
I'm ready.
man. I'm a little yeah.
Okay. So we ain't got to rush this week because the teams are dwindling down. So Saturday's games, right? We got the LA Chargers. I mean the LA Rams against the Green Bay Packers. Talent, I'm gonna throw the floor to you.
Well, I'm going to go with the Packers. I'm going to take the Packers in this game. Again, I told you at the beginning of the season, this is the battle of the senior quarterbacks. So you got to know the Aaron Rodgers, the Drew Brees, and the Bradys and all those guys firing all cylinders. Give me Aaron Rodgers and the Packers this week.
Yeah. Okay, who you taking, Fig?
I'm going out on the limb, man. And I'm gonna go with the Rams, and they're going into Green Bay. They're going into Lambeau. It's gonna be cold. I know Allen got the injury to his thumb and stuff like that. But here's what I'm gonna select, and I'm gonna tell you, I'm picking the LA Rams defense because they're so dominant. I'm going with those guys. I'm going with the defense. I know defense always travels, whether it's football or whether it's basketball. Offense comes and goes, but your defense always travels. And I'm out on a limb because Aaron Rodgers is a bad man. I'm going with the defense of the Rams.
Okay. I'm going to go with Green Bay. I almost picked that as be my upset of the week, but I'm going to go with Green Bay. My upset of the week is the next game, the Baltimore Ravens versus Buffalo. I'm taking Baltimore. The way Baltimore is playing, I'm taking Baltimore. Even though Baltimore's going into Buffalo, I'm taking Baltimore. I think Baltimore is going to beat Buffalo. That's what I think. What you think? And the way Town's looking at me like right now, looking at me literally with that you crazy look.
I'm trying to hand you some saline for your eye solution. What the hell do you see? Buffalo will not be denied, bro. This is their time.
Okay.
And here's the thing. We can argue about how long and hard the road was to get to the playoffs, but to be the team that's playing at home, again, they're arguing with their own governor. You think they're going to lose?
Yeah, I do.
You think they're going to play a game where the governor can't even attend? The governor of New York is banned from the game. He gave permission to have the damn fans in the first place.
I think the problem is that Baltimore is still mad about being tripped up from last year, and I don't think they're going to let that be a deterrent from them this year to get to the road they're trying to get to. That's what I think. I think their whole motivation is right now that they're trying to get to the AFC Championship game, eventually the Super Bowl. That's what I think.
All right, remember I tell you this. Remember Talent told you that. Watch Buffalo. Not just that they're going to win. Watch they jump out on it.
Okay. No, I'll be texting you back and forth over the weekend in the town. Look at the score.
I'm right here, baby. I'm right here.
Fig, what you got?
I'm gonna tell you, man. My heart is really with Lamar Jackson. It really is because of the way they do black quarterbacks in the NFL. but I think Buffalo is better on both sides of the ball.
Mm-hmm. They are. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. So you think Buffalo? You go over? Okay.
Man. I hate all these games. I just want to let you know that right now. I hate all of the games.
Okay. Sunday's games, we got Cleveland versus Kansas City. Now, I'm going to ask you, Talent, who you taking? I think you're going to take Kansas City.
Yeah, I'm going to have to take Kansas City as much as I don't want to, because Cleveland is my other team that nobody wants to see.
Yep.
And they're the shock. Now, that would be the upset of the week. If that happened, cancel Christmas.
In the last 5 games, Cleveland has outscored Kansas City by a rate almost 5-1. They have the highest scoring, which people not even talk about. Saw the graph on ESPN this morning. People not even talking about how much the Cleveland offense is scoring. Wide receivers, running back, they are scoring. They are high-powered offense. So
I think Kansas City going to win that though. I'm going to take Kansas City. I think that these teams are still riding high, especially a team like Kansas City, still riding high off that Super Bowl. We got to respect that Super Bowl.
Yeah. So you think Kansas City?
Yeah, I'm going to say.
Oh man, I'm gonna go. Listen. I'm gonna go with KC, but you know what? Cleveland ain't no joke, man, because they got a nice running game. The only way I would like to beat Cleveland is to stack the box and make Baker Mayfield beat you.
Okay, so
but I'll go with KC. I'll go with KC on the experience and Patrick, my homeboy.
I'm going to be going with Kansas City, but I hope Cleveland wins. I really would like I'd like to see Cleveland and Baltimore and the AFC change. That's what I'd like to see. But I think Kansas City's going to win. You know what I mean? So, and the last game, I think we mentioned it. We're talking about the Saints versus the Bucks. I got the Saints. I'm going out there. I'm going against Tom Brady. I got the Saints. Even though I think the Bucks going to win. I got the Saints. I'm rooting for them.
You know how old people take their glasses off so they can hear better?
Mm-hmm.
It was like, what?
Yeah.
Frank has no choice but to take the Saints because
tell him, Talent. Tell him.
the more Brady wins, the more Talent wins. And the argument of coach and quarterback.
I told you to tell him. Tell him. Tell him.
So he wants this thing to be over.
Today,
the further Brady goes, the more he just it's not true.
Don't tell everybody about my stuff.
So it's no surprise that he's going with the Saints. I'm gonna obviously go with Tampa Bay. I want the story to continue.
I'm calling you just like when the score is over. I'm gonna be like, yo, Talent, you see that score?
Yo, this is crazy right now, man.
Who you got?
I literally hate all of these games. I hate them all.
Who you got? Come on, Fig. It's
go with the Saints, man. I'm going with the Saints.
Okay, all right.
Because they got a dope defense and they got a dope rushing attack, man.
All right, y'all. That's the show for the week. The time is running out. Actually, the time is
already.
Talent, everybody out there, how they can follow you. I know you got a show this weekend. You know.
Hey, yo, I'm out here in Tampa, Clearwater area with the Comedy Festival. We got the Martin Luther King Weekend Comedy Festival at More Eventful Hall. You can go to my page and find it, or just inbox me. I'm on Twitter at It's Just Comedy. I'm on Instagram at Talent the Comedian, and Facebook King Talent Harris. We got show Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Represent Martin Luther King, because without him, we wouldn't have had these liberties to do the box seats.
You absolutely right. And Fig.
You can follow your boy Comedian Fig on all social media platforms at Comedian Fig. I would be hanging out with Talent, but he all the way down there in Tampa, and I ain't going down to Tampa. If you don't see me on all social media platforms at Comedian Fig, you can get your boy on the box seats Monday through Friday, 1 to 2 p.m. Baby, I'm going to tell you, this is the best sports show on TV.
It is. It is.
Everybody out there watching right now, being Talent gonna go at it this weekend. We'll report all about it on Monday. I'm gonna be like, yeah, Talent is where. I'm gonna tell y'all how he didn't respond because he don't respond when he loses. He don't respond. He don't respond when he loses. It's all good. It's all good because it's all.
I responded.
It's all good. It's all love. I'm gonna send y'all screenshots of how he don't respond. Monday morning, from 1 to 2. This is the show right here. This is what we do. What we do is on the channel called the Humor Mill. Of course, if y'all could do us a favor, download the app, tell a friend, and tell a friend. And you know what you can even do? You can even call your cable service provider. But we'll be back Monday. We're gonna have the NFL recap. We're gonna have the Big 3 recap. We're gonna talk about all that, and then some. Can't wait so you all can tune in. We'll be back the same bat time, the same bat channel. We'll see y'all. Have a good weekend.